All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Brandy from Krannich Solar. Thank you for joining our webinar today with Canadian Solar. But before we get started, I'll be giving a quick presentation about Krannich. So Krannich Solar is headquartered in Germany and was founded by Kurt Krannich. Since being founded, Krannich has expanded into 26 different countries, can ship over to 100 countries. As a privately owned company and self-finance company, we hold a significant market share and rank among the leading solar wholesalers globally. With 29 years of experience in delivering solar products worldwide, we've become experts in our field, and our international purchasing power helped us build strong relationships with your favorite manufacturers, such as Canadian Solar, to secure the best pricing and availability. In 2005, Krannich expanded into the US, opening our first branch in New Jersey. Today, we have branches in California, Florida, and our Texas location, with additional warehouses across the nation. Our US team consists of over 100 employees that service the Americas and strive to offer the best services and options for our partners to grow. Krannich is a top partner for installation companies seeking PV system products. In our role as an internationally operating wholesaler, we can make a significant contribution to shaping the energy transition. Our company values are to drive our success and our inspiration in the dynamic market. Throughout the years, we have grown our product portfolio to provide over 5,000 products. We have partnered with leading manufacturers worldwide to offer the best materials for your project of any size, whether it's an off-grid system, 4-panel shingled roof, or a megawatt flat roof. Choosing Krannich Solar means you'll never work alone. Our streamlined ordering process ensures that each customer receives a dedicated sales rep, guiding them through every step of the project design to our on-site delivery. The solar industry is always innovating and changing. At Krannich, we're committed to keeping you informed about the latest products and technologies. We collaborate with industry leaders and seasoned professionals to offer firsthand training and everything you need to know, and it's always free. And this concludes my portion of this webinar. Here's our contact information. If you'd like to, you can grab a screen grab or rewatch this. If you would like to reach out for a quote, or if any questions arise regarding our products or services that we have, please feel free to reach out, call, email, whichever. Thanks again for joining us. And now I'll pass along this webinar to the team of Canadian Solar. And Aaron, you're up.
Sounds good. Thank you much. We'll actually be having my colleague Justin is gonna be the face of the program there. You can see him in his stunning beard and mustache there. So Justin, if you want to get us going here, I'm going to get us pulled up.
Yeah, thank you, Brandy. That was amazing. Thanks for having us here today from Canadian Solar. My name is Justin. I'm the regional sales manager for the Southeast. I live in Florida, the Sunshine State. It's beautiful out here. I'm here today with Aaron, our technical trainer, and we're going to jump right into our latest product, the EP Cube. So again, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Krannich. Let's do this. So a little background before we jump into EP Cube. Canadian Solar is a global company. We have manufacturing plants for our PV modules, which is what we're really known for globally, in 6 different countries. We've been in business since 2001, and just at the end of last year in December, we opened up our Texas assembly plant for our newest modules that are coming to market. I'm also excited to announce that we're going to have a cell manufacturing plant in Indiana. So that's probably January 2026-ish, but we're going to have product, basically fully assembled and made in America on our module side. First today is about the EP Cube. These are a couple of the topics we're going to go over, guys. You know, EP Cube is your hybrid inverter. It's a stackable battery using LFP chemistry. It comes with a smart gateway with 200 amp pass through. You're in for a treat when you dive deep into our product, the features, the benefits, and what we can do for the installers and the homeowners. So yeah, more to come as we go to the next slide here. So starting off, we're looking at 9 inches off your wall. That is typically almost always shorter than the return that's on your garage. So you go in the garage, you have that little wall right there, that's your return. This thing is gonna fit nice and compact right there without the need of a bollard in most jurisdictions. It's beautiful. Plus you have this great looking system that is sleek. It's this dark gray. It's not gonna get dirty like other, you know, maybe white products that are in market today. What else we got, Aaron? The stackability. That's something you don't see in products these days, right? Most systems, it's one size, and if you want to upgrade, you got to put this big unit right next to it. Not with the EP Cube. EP Cube is a modular and stackable system. The hybrid inverter is on the top. It's kind of like the first square, I'll call it. And then below it, and we'll get more into detail in pictures to show you, but you have a 3.3 kilowatt hour battery that almost acts like a Lego in terms of connections. So you'll do 3 batteries as your main base configuration. That's the minimum requirement. So you see that on the left, that's 9.9 kilowatt hours. You could do 4 batteries, 5 or 6. The system just gets a little bit taller. The electrical connection is just a simple Lego. So you choose where you want to start or grow into with utilizing EP Cube. The hybrid inverter also has 7.6 continuous output with 4 MPPTs. So that's a lot of flexibility with when you use our system, when you're trying to design and you have shade and trees and whatnot. What else we got?
And for our installers out there, as a former installer myself, again, each one of those is modular, right? 70 pounds a piece, which means you don't have to have a whole team moving the thing. It could be just you, unless you ask OSHA, and then it's 2 people, of course.
Guys. So you can see here how some other competitors' products in market might only have, you know, limited to 2 strings. Another feature of EP Cube is not only is it 4 strings, but it's also 16 amps per MPPT. That means that we can actually do 2-to-1 DC to AC input, putting just about 15 kW worth of solar on a single inverter. More flexibility when you use EP Cube. Our system's strong enough to support 22 kVA on a full stack of batteries. That's going to get your 5-ton started. You might need a little soft start hooked up to that AC if it is a 5-ton, but the fact that one inverter has 22 kVA, that's going to get your 5-ton started no problem. And if it's a smaller unit, you probably won't even need that soft start in the first place. One thing we haven't talked about, this is a system that can be paralleled, delivering a higher continuous inverter output and obviously a larger storage total capacity. So one gateway, which is what you see on the left, and we'll dive deeper into the gateway in a little bit here. One gateway can support up to 6 EP Cubes in parallel, delivering you about 45K continuous output and power, as well as up to 100 and essentially 20 kilowatt hours of storage. Very flexible system, all controlled in the app and by the single smart gateway.
And Justin, I always like to add as well that this system is expandable at a later time. So if a homeowner wanted to start smaller and build up, they have that ability to do so as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to tell the sales reps, you can have the conversation with the homeowner that you can kind of start small and grow into the system that you need later. You go through that first outage and you're like, man, I kind of really wish I had a little bit, more long lasting energy. Well, you simply just like you see here in this picture, you just add another battery. You just stack it up there. It's pretty much that simple. There's a QR code on the side of the battery module. You scan that into our app, and essentially that's where the magic happens, and that's where it's commissioned. No extra wiring, no enclosures. It's a very simple process. Some of the juicy stuff, I'll let Aaron talk about it.
Yeah, so again, former installer, so I'm used to having my hands inside of here. So this is just going to take you through some of those questions that you're going to have, of course. I'm actually going to start on that far end at number 7 there. The reason I'm going to do so is Justin already mentioned that LEGO capability. There you can actually see it. What I appreciate about this is once that is plugged in, that is it for DC wiring. Yes. All right, let's go. As some of you out there may know, DC wiring can be a chore, to say the least, and I'm using that in my professional phrasing, right? This makes it that much easier. You can see that fuse there. That is going to be that main disconnect. That's going to allow you to make sure that the system isn't powered while you're wiring it, and so on and so forth. You can see those disconnects there. So for any PV that you have connected to us via DC, those are going to be your disconnects. You will also, at least in most jurisdictions throughout the US, you will have tied into our system an e-stop button, right? An additional safety stop that's going to be outside of that unit that will actually power down everything. There you can see those MPPTs. Nice, simple, easy, not anything too complicated. Same can be said for the wiring between the units. Again, nothing you haven't seen before. As you can see with the actual ports there, they do come not quite like that. They actually have screw in ports. So you can use 3/4 and thread it directly into that. I wouldn't. I typically go up to 1 inch. It just makes it a lot easier. I'm not a big fan of pulling wires as a former residential electrician. So if I can avoid pulling wires through conduit, I try to do so. And so the bigger conduit's always better for me. So that's usually what I do. Communication, very, very simple. You have 33 feet between this, as you're seeing here, the hybrid inverter, and our gateway. Can you go longer than that? Yeah, technically you can. Do you want to? Probably not. The cables are labeled, so it makes it a lot easier when it's 95 degrees out there and you're, you've had a long day and you're looking at that last communication wire. Sometimes it's just easier to look down, read it, and then plug it into the appropriate hole. Once you cut that cable, you won't have that ability anymore. So just keep that in mind. And then lastly, you can see on this particular unit, we do have that AP Smart or Tigo RSD transmitter. So you will want to make sure that you're getting something that is going to work with that. So for your rapid shutdowns, if you're going to go DC, Justin will tell you that he's going to get excited here in a bit, because just a DC is not our thing, right? If you need it done, we can do it. But if you are going to use DC, that's what you're going to use.
Great job, Aaron. Great explanation. Our system, we'll talk about this in a little bit, man, and the rest of the folks here, but our system is AC and DC compatible. And that really just drives flexibility on retrofits and, finding a way to make EPQ fit into the homeowner's life. It's a no-brainer. It's a yes. You don't even have to call us. It's, hey, EPQ is going to work. It's just going to work. As we talked about a little bit, a few times now, you see these Lego batteries that we keep saying. You can kind of see it even more in detail here. Those little blocks that you see right on top of the battery, that's the electrical connection that happens, and you just stack each one on top of the other. And then at the very top, as I said, the top square is basically our hybrid inverter. So it is a plug play scenario. One person can essentially unload, unbox, and begin to install and commission the EPQ by themselves.
So yeah, that's 77 pounds for the hybrid inverter. That is the heaviest part of the whole system. So if you're used to using, mobile carts, lift tables, things like that, you can keep all of those back at the warehouse.
That's right. Beautiful slide just showcasing EPQ keeping the only house on with electricity running through, and you can do that with full home backup with EPQ. The Smart Gateway has a 200 amp pass through, so it just makes full home backup super easy, and especially when you put them in parallel, you get even more continuous power. So we always throw this slide in there just to show EPQ looking great and powering the one and only home with battery storage. So we just talked about this a bit here. We got AC, we got DC coupled. Retrofitting is a blast. It's easy. You're going to be, you just tell your sales reps, you want them to knock on those doors that already have solar, because you could potentially sell them a battery and you could potentially sell them more PV, right? Like, I know that most finance companies, for example, they only give battery storage systems maybe like a 10 kW, a 10-year loan max. But if you add 1 kW of solar, there's a loophole, because now it's a solar loan. Now you get to add a battery, and now it's a 25-year loan, making it more affordable, allowing you guys to close more deals. And you can do that because our system is AC and DC. So you'll just plug in the existing system right into our Smart Gateway. You'll add the new solar right into the 4 MPP channels. Now they have new solar, they have DC strings, they have AC tied, and they have a battery system, and everyone's happy. We can also tie in a standby generator system, which is what you're looking at here. This is great. You can charge off of your battery, allowing basically a double layer of backup. A lot of homeowners already have generators, so if they do, that's not being put to waste. They can make use of it, charge when they need to, but ideally using the battery, the solar, as much as possible without it.
Right, and then have a quiet home overnight, right, Justin? So they don't have to listen to that generator all
night. Absolutely. So it is EV ready. We have 2 100 amp contact points in the Smart Gateway. So essentially what that means is that's where you're going to land your choices of a level 2 charger. So you don't need to wire it directly to your main service panel. You just wire it directly to EPQ. Or you can tie in the AC coupled system, existing PV, so that'll go right on the gateway. You can tie in the generator. You can also cleverly use these ports as load sheds. So you, example, could put your AC on the Smart Gateway and have it smart enough to, when in the app, you'll basically set it so at give or take 70% state of charge, AC shuts off and conserves the rest of the battery for the home and more essential loads. And that can all be done in the Smart Gateway in our app. And I'll let Aaron talk a little bit more about the gateway.
Yeah, of course. So what you're seeing right now is kind of the visualization of what Justin was just describing there. Once again, really simple wiring. I do want to mention that depending on what you're used to, what a homeowner needs, and kind of the best case scenario for what you're looking at, we have 2 different topologies that you can actually wire. So if you do want to set this up as a whole home, you can definitely take that from the meter, or rather a 200 amp main panel. You can cut in between that and then power the whole house that way. But if you want to do a backup loads panel, maybe that's more convenient, something like that, you can do that also. Those terminals that you see in the bottom right corner, those were what Justin was referencing. That's where you're going to land any AC PV if you're doing a retrofit, or maybe it's not a retrofit. Maybe you just have a homeowner that is, 100%, I want to be able to see every single panel at all times and control them. Whatever they want, we can accommodate, right? So that's what those two ports are there for. Again, the one on the right is intended for EV usage, but smart engineers at our team, some of the pre-sale support guys realized, the system doesn't really know if it's an EV charger or a dryer. So if you were to run a secondary panel off of it, then you have that load control that Justin was talking about. And the way that does that is our system just knows that when I'm in off grid, when I get below 60% state of charge, I'm going to kill all those loads. And that's what that port allows. So depending on how you're using it, if it's an EV charger, the idea was that you don't drain all of your home into your car, but also you could use that in other ways, as Justin kind of referenced there. 200 amp bus, very, very simple. The DIN rail there is for those DIN rail breakers. Officially, you can actually use that again as a 200 amp panel there, right? So if you want to put in an additional breaker load in there, some kind, you can do that. You certainly can. Down on the bottom, you can see that fiberglass design. We are NEMA 4X rated, so you have the ability to go inside or outside. Also, our engineers, they really like to give you a lot of detail. So if you actually flipped to the bottom of the gateway, it would actually show you what every port was designed for. I'm going to tell you with truth that as a former installer, I don't use that. I just make the number of holes that I need, usually 2-inch, and I run it down into a gutter. That's usually how I do it to make it a little bit easier. But again, the flexibility is there for you to use this as you see fit. So there you can actually see we have the where the smart gateway is going to connect to the hybrid. That's again the control. That's the comms. You see this is where the grid is going to come in. Again, typical 2-watt cabling. That's going to be fine if you're going to do that in that whole home regard. So nice, easy. It is important to recognize though that we are not service entrance rated. All right, so if you are going to do a whole home setup, you will need some kind of disconnect device between the meter and us. All right, so whether that's a main panel that has a breaker there already, or you're going to put in a 200 amp knife switch, whatever it is, that's important to recognize as well. This is where our backup loads are going to come. Again, if you're cutting that in for a whole home, then that's just going to be going to your main distribution panel, for example. But if you're going to do a critical loads, that's where that's going to come from. Once again, we talked about those ports at length, mostly because I get excited about it. I actually get excited about the retrofit. Again, if you've ever done service, for our installers out there, if you've ever done service, you've gone to somebody's house and they say, hey, can I get a battery? And 2, 3, 4 years ago, even as much as 6 months ago for some people, if they asked, hey, can I get a battery? Your answer would be like, yeah, you can, but I'm going to have to go up on the roof and redo everything. That's not necessarily the case with ours. In fact, I say the most simple thing to do is pull the PV wires that are leading into a breaker and you feed it into our gateway, and that's probably all you're going to need to do. So makes it nice and easy in that regard. Lastly, that DIN rail that we talked about, that's where your paralleled, it's actually intended for your paralleled inverters to go, but again, you can use it for some other things if that's going to be advantageous to you. Again, anytime you are going to go above and beyond, I'd say 2 inverters, I just want to strongly encourage you to reach out to the EPQ team, because at that point, we're going to give you a little bit more assistance and make sure you have everything you need to be successful for that. So just if you're going to, if you've got a mega home coming up, involve us early and often.
Thanks for that, Aaron. Sorry, my computer's here. So this is just showing you a little diagram of what you would do to take an AC coupled system, the loads, and the strings of solar going into the hybrid on the right and the smart gateway on the left. Hi, I'm in the meeting, dude. Thank you. I love you. Sorry, guys. But yeah, retrofit's great. So you'll be able to you'll be able to also talk to homeowners about possibly taking that older technology that may be a service call. It's something that's not working, an old inverter that's not working properly, and maybe they're on their second or third warranty claim. Maybe it's been 6 years. Well, just take it off. Take it off. Connect TP-Cube, give the homeowner a fresh new warranty on their inverter, give them a battery, and we make it really easy to do that, not just from a hardware side, but even from a customer service side. And those first couple installs, we're going to be there to support you. We'll dig a little bit deeper into that in a moment here, but we make that whole process really easy to give someone a fresh start on a new system. A little bit about our app here. You have all your typical connections that you would want to see, your grid coming in, your solar coming in, your generator, etc. It's available on both app stores, Android and iPhone. And there's also an installer app that basically walks the installers through the entire commissioning process. It's a very simple step-by-step process that hooks up right to the homeowner's app, and by the time everyone's done, you're going to have access to your fleet and be able to see everything that you've done and installed, and the homeowner at the same time will have access to their home and see everything set up.
Sure. A couple other things about that, Justin. The first, as he was saying, commissioning here, very, very easy. It's stepwise. Once it starts, it pretty much drags you through the process. Make sure you do it right. Should you not do it right, it actually gives you the freedom to go back and try again. So you have that ability to recommission the system as well. The other thing that I like to point out, as some of you may know, again, when you're in the field, sometimes your app doesn't look like the end user's app. So you have difficulty trying to show them how to use it, what it looks like. That's not the case here, right? It's basically just the end user's version is your version with slightly fewer features, all right? So you're gonna be able to know this system, know the app, know how it works, and right as you're leaving, be able to show that homeowner, hey, here's the system, here's how it looks, here's how it works, here's what you can look out for. That way you can avoid maybe some of those nuisance calls of, I don't know what's going on, this thing isn't working. You'll have the ability to talk to them on the phone and say, well, I think it is. You need to touch this button, this button, this button. So we do have those 3 different operation modes as well. So a couple of things that you can think about with this. Again, we're talking about usability here. We have a wide use case. And in this case, you do have those 3 that you can see there. So self-consumption, time of use, and backup. All right, so it kind of depends on what a homeowner wants and what they need. They do have the ability to kind of control that as well. So they have the ability to change that. You might encourage them not to. Once again, once they're set up and everything is functioning and doing exactly as you would expect, maybe it's not a good idea for them to go in and push a bunch of buttons, but we all have those clients, right? They're going to do it anyway. So we have given them some of that ability. And once again, you yourself will be able to kind of coach them through fixing some of the things that they may have run askew. All right. Again, just as a quick reference, I don't want to go too far into it. Many of you are probably well knowledged on this. You're well familiar, but again, self-consumption mode, that's using solar to cover the loads of the home first. Once the loads are met, charge the battery. When the sun goes down and the PV drops below the loads, then the battery kicks in. Once the solar is gone, the battery goes until it reaches its reserve state of charge, whatever that homeowner wants to set it at. And then from there, it's going to use the grid. In the morning, PV comes back up, it works till it's serving the load, charge the battery, and it goes like that in these nice curves, ideally, right? Provided you don't have weather that Justin and I see all summer long, right? You get these nice even curves throughout. Time of use for those of you that are in those areas. This is your ability to mitigate what it costs from the power company, right? To tell them thank you, but no thank you, right? So you have the ability to use your battery in the times when they want to charge you the most, and you get to say no, boo boo, no, okay? And then lastly, backup mode. If that's something that they want to have that thing kind of work as a standby solar generator, they can do that. I do like to mention the weather watch option as well, mostly because, again, Justin and I live in Florida, right? So at any given time, we can hear about one of these hurricanes coming through, and he and I are more concerned about stocking the fridge for our families and the garage fridge full of beer, right? We want to make sure that those things are done. We don't want to think about our battery on the side of the house.
It is nice to use that weather watch feature, isn't it? Don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, we got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so we have a great support. In fact, you could actually call customer service right now, this very moment, and get a live person on the phone. That's the customer service that you'll get not just the first time, but every time that you work with Canadian Solar. We're here to help. We're here to support. And on top of that, we show up to, we're still in app support. So let me not skip around here. In app support, this is where you're going to, one, like I mentioned, commission your system. It's a step-by-step process for the installer to commission the system. On top of that, this is where a homeowner would make some sort of request if something had a question, or they noticed something maybe not working the way they thought it was going to. They have an access right in their phone to submit the process for our team to immediately begin working on the request without even having to bother the installer about it, because our team is here first to support. Ideally, we can fix it before you even find out about it, and that's our goal. So we're also going to talk a little bit today. This is our EP Cube Lite. So everything you've seen up to this point has been EP Cube, and this next few slides here is our Lite option. The Lite option is essentially all the same components of EP Cube. It's the same inverter, it's the same battery, it's the same base. There's no extra part numbers in any of those. So for stocking purposes and ordering purposes, it's a very simple product to manage. The only thing that changes is the gateway. We have the EP Cube Lite or COM Lite, and essentially that replaces the smart gateway. And earlier we discussed EP Cube requiring a minimum of 3 batteries, where the Lite has a minimum requirement of only 2. So you can actually start with 6.6 kilowatt hours and grow into more battery storage, or even upgrade to EP Cube later. All you would do is swap out the Lite gateway with the smart gateway from the EP Cube, do a little electrical changes, and now the homeowner has backup. So it's a great option. We designed it for storage only, no backup. So think of California, time of use. Think of North Carolina, time of use. Idaho just passed something, time of use. Utilities are changing the rules. So it's only a matter of time within the next 24 months that we're going to have more time of use throughout the country, more self-consumption that's needed from a battery system, because utilities are also changing the rules on net metering. You know, let's look at NEM3. There's a bunch of co-ops here in Florida that don't pay 1-to-1. Well, what do you do when you don't have 1-to-1? You have a choice. Basically, you skip the region because it's harder to sell, which is what a lot of people do. Or you oversize the system. You have to oversize. So if they're only paying 80 cents to the dollar for the net metering, you have to oversize your system by 20%. Well, instead of doing that, you use EP Cube Lite. So again, self-consumption, time of use, that's what the system's designed for. I have EP Cube Lite on my home. So essentially, again, instead of me sending energy back at 80 cents to the dollar, I just store it all in my house and use it at night every single day. We have LFP chemistry in the battery. I run this thing down to basically 0% every day, and it's fully charged by 1 p.m. I have 10 kW worth of solar on my roof. So, essentially, EP Cube Lite gives me 1-to-1 of my own energy and bypass the grid altogether. Of course, in a blackout situation, I have no power. So, that's something that, that's not what this is designed for. But guess what? It's kind of changes the conversation a little bit, because a homeowner is going to walk out and they're going to see that they have a battery and they're going to be like, man, can I just use the batteries here? And the answer is yes. You just swap out the gateways and now they have backup. So you get to start with a less expensive product, get them what they need, protect them from the utility changing the rules. And then the moment that they want to add backup, you're going to be saving them thousands of dollars because they already have everything that they need. It's a cool little product we made. Both products have 10-year warranty, 6,000 cycles, 80% capacity, efficiency at the 10-year marker. That is industry leading, specifically on the efficiency of the battery system. We designed this whole system to last well over 20 years, but we do have to put a number on it. So 10 is the magic number, but I'd like to also say that 6,000 cycles is 15 years if you do one full charge per day. So, again, this is built to last very long time. A little summary of some of the things we've discussed today. Installation, commissioning time is probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Retrofit systems, it's so easy. Technical support that we have from the team is outstanding. We have local reps that support all of our installers throughout the country. So as I mentioned, I'm regionally based, but there's about 10 of me throughout the country. So you're getting a lot of support here in North America. So now we kind of open it up a little bit with some questions. If you have extra questions, again, here's my contact info. James handles our national accounts like Krannich. They have lots of locations. They've been a great partner. But there's our contact information if you have any questions for us.
Well, I actually have one in here. Ben asked a question about the PV-AC wiring from particularly, I think you're talking about, Ben, it says N-phase combiner. So in the case of a combiner, where that combiner would normally go to a breaker and feed the bottom of a bus bar, instead of doing that, you're going to feed that directly into our smart gateway. So that's going to go directly into that PV port that we were talking about. If I go back far enough, so that's going to be the one that you're talking about. So instead of going individual strings, you're going to take that entire combiner and land it in there. Again, you have 100 amps here. So I think, if I recall correctly, that N-phase product can't do anything more than that. So you're just going to grab that, plug it in there, and you have officially made that N-phase system retrofitted to a much more simple battery, we'll say. Ben, I also think Ben has a question for you, Justin. It asks, where do I get authorization for my distributor for my company? Install certifications have been completed. Probably going to reach out directly to you, right?
Yeah, of course. Please reach out to me. You can also reach out to your local Krannich branch. Either of us would be more than happy to support you through that. I'd like to also add something. for the sales team that you guys have, I work directly with sales members and help teach them how to sell batteries to homeowners and the benefits of utilizing the new hybrid inverter technology, why it makes sense, and some of the misconceptions that the market, the reps have taught over the years. Hybrid inverter is really cool product. It has a lot more capabilities than people even really truly understand, and it really helps keep the cost down of the product, of the project is what I meant. Utilizing EP Cube, what I've seen here in Florida, when I first got out here, Florida was like anti-battery. You'd think hurricanes, you'd think that that's going to keep solar and batteries of flying off the roofs. That was kind of a pun there, but yeah, you know, when I got out here, it was, no, we don't sell batteries. No one wants batteries out here. And the main reason was expense. They're very expensive. Well, when you utilize a hybrid inverter and you utilize our EP Cube system, I have installers, EPCs out here in Florida that took their existing offerings, compared it with EP Cube, put it in their offerings. They went back to proposal that they've sent out to homeowners within the last 30 days, gave the homeowner EP Cube, swapped out all the other components, no battery, right? These are quotes with no battery. They swapped it out with EP Cube that included a battery. They were able to do it and keep their price the same and still come out with profit. That is the true amazing benefit of EP Cube. And I'd be more than happy to show you how we can pencil this in, where I can make your business, we can make your business more profitable utilizing our system. I have a few strategies, sales strategies that I've developed with the team here, and we're more than happy to sit down and go over each and one of them to see what works best for you, your market, and then we coach the team, we coach the sales teams, and boom, we got orders, we got installs. Let's make it happen.
And speaking of those installs, then at that point, Justin reaches out to me and I get your team trained on exactly how to do those installs as well. So if you have a team, you want us to do something online, or you if you're local to one of our trainers, then we're more than happy to get out there and mix it up with you as far as getting you trained, kind of the classroom setting. And then in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases, you can even get like a lab practical professor as well that can come out and assist you on site too. So again, keep in contact with us. We want to make sure that we're helping you along and making sure that you're getting the most out of this product that you can. Speaking of, it would be remiss for me as a trainer to not point out down there on the bottom, I put that learn more. Make sure you take down that URL. That's going to get you to EP Cube University and give you the opportunity to dive a little more deeply into this. Maybe you're just an installer and your company isn't quite there. If you want to get certified and come back and say, hey guys, I'm certified for this, and slide that paper across the table, then maybe we can get that business owner talking to Justin and Krannich, and the next thing you know, you have hands on it. So that's one of the strategies you can utilize. But again, if you just want to learn more, it's a great resource there as well. Once again, if you have any other questions, feel free to pound that question box. Love to answer anything technical. If you have anything about relationships, sales strategies, that's going to be Justin's domain, as they say.
Hey, well, thanks, Aaron, for that. Will you pull up a few? Does this presentation have a few real life installations that we've done? Oh, there they are.
Of course it does.
There we are. Yeah, so love to share this with you guys, see what it actually looks like in the field, because those stock images without the conduit, you know, we don't want to see those. We want to see what it looks like, you know, on the home itself. So here we go. We got a bunch of pictures for you guys. You can see what we're doing out here.
Yep. So myself, I like something like this a little better. I know I mentioned it in the presentation in our slideshow there. Justin and pretty much the entirety of his team are tired of me saying the word gutter. They like to push me in the gutter because I say it so often, but it does make it so much easier, as you can see there. The only distinction, the only change I would make in something like this is instead of running 4 different conduits up to the gateway, I'd probably only run 2-inch ones. But again, we are meant to be as flexible as you need to be. You can also see that EV charger coming off the side, again, utilizing that reserve SOC to turn off that EV charger in the case of an off-grid event. Once again, Ben, I know you can't see the wiring, but that's kind of the answer to your question. You can see that combiner box going into that gutter and then straight up into our EP Cube Smart Gateway. So that's kind of the answer to your question. This also highlights another advantage that, man, so often Justin and I, there are just so many advantages, it's hard for us to remember them all. But this highlights another, and that if you do want to use parallel stacks, they do not have to be the same size. So you can actually have it truly keyed to fit exactly what you need, and again, give you that adaptability and addability later as well. Speaking of that addability, that's what you have here. So that photo on the right, on the left, excuse me, is actually a system that was put on my dear leader's house. He had that on there, decided pretty quickly that, you know what, I want a little bit more. And so as you can see here, he was able to add to that stack a little bit later. Now, if it were I that installed it and I wasn't just worried about the, the aesthetics of it, so to speak, I would actually have hung that thing on the wall to begin with what we call a lift kit, right? So we have the ability to actually lift this up. This can be floor mounted, as you see here, or wall mounted with a lift kit. If you are going to wall mount that, though, make sure that you talk to Krannich, make sure you talk to Justin, make sure you have those, because that is an accessory unit, right? So if you want that, you want to make it nice and clean and have it level at the top along the wall, great, super, just make sure you have that part. Otherwise, you're going to be upset when you get there. But by having done so, then Mike could have just added those batteries underneath without having to realign the holes in the back. Is it a big deal? No, but it's slightly less work. And for myself, anytime that I'm going out to a site, I'm anticipating that my sales guys are awesome and that they're going to sell more in the future. So I want to make it easier on myself. That's another view of the app we've seen. Again, simple, easy. Everything as far as commissioning stepwise, you guys don't have to worry about it really. Again, Justin's favorite thing about the EP Cube is that he can get all of these installers, all of you companies that have gotten it in your mind that the only way to do this efficiently is with, well, on microinverters or other. He prides himself on being able to convince you that nuh-uh, and he probably will if you give him some time. So this is kind of what we're seeing there, is that DC coupling over there on that left hand side.
Good one, Aaron. You know, just to touch on that, man, microinverters are great. They serve a great purpose. A hybrid inverter, all I can say is I get there's people out there who are like, man, you know, strings, blah, blah, blah. Microinverters are everything. And I'm like, sure. But everyone has deals that they haven't closed. Everyone does. And if you have a tool in your back pocket that you can go back to a homeowner and include a battery system for essentially no extra cost by replacing a product and including EP Cube, you're going to close some deals. You're going to close some deals. It's that simple.
All right, once again, important things here, a couple of things to note. You can see that those units can be separated. They have a distance between them, between the gateway and the hybrid. Love that, makes it really, again, adaptable. Other thing, to kind of keep a note is actually better displayed here. We are UL 9540A, so that means that you actually can put these units side by side. You don't have to worry about that 3-foot rule for these. So if you are going to stack inverters, you do have that ability, right? So that makes it a lot easier, gives you a lot more flexibility in where to place these things. And as Justin had said right at the beginning of the presentation, and I think an important note right here is you can actually see just how little that sticks off the wall, right? So fewer than 10 inches off of the wall, but it does give you the space behind to run conduit. So you can end up with a really cool, clean look when it's all said and done, but not have to tear up concrete and put bollards in if you're gonna have to end up putting one of these in a garage. That was there's the e-stop button that I was talking about. That's integrated. Again, technically that's an accessory purchase. You're going to want to find, work with Krannich, get a button, a simple button to make sure that you're going to be able to comply with those. We do have a design team that, once again, if you want to have, get in touch with Justin. Justin can send that over, whatever plans you have, to the design team, and they can do a final check. And in fact, I would definitely suggest that, right? Again, anytime you're installing a new system, especially if you're putting it in a jurisdiction that maybe hasn't seen a lot of these yet, we all know the beauty and the pain that can be working with AHJs. So keeping that in mind and having our design team help with that is going to be a great way to make sure you're prepared and you don't have any problems. The warranty, we hit that pretty hard. Once again, that's gutters for days. Oh, it makes me so happy. But you can also, this system was actually added to as well. If you were to happen to search EP Cube on YouTube, you might very well find this system and then also find the expansion afterwards. So if you watch that expansion video, you might realize exactly why I suggested hanging it in the first place, but I'm not going to tell you that I'm right. I'm just going to tell you that is my last name.
Good points, man.
Installer friendly. Again, we talked about this. You can do it by yourself. Is it ideal? No, I actually like an AC guy and a DC guy, but that's because that's how I used to work on a ground crew, just to give us that ability. So let me see if we have any more photos. Justin, it doesn't look like it. I think we might have come to the end, so to speak.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Any last minute questions? Again, you have my contact information on the page. I'd love to get with all of your sales managers. Let's schedule a meeting. Let's show you how we can spec this in, make your business more profitable. That's the goal after all, right? Give the homeowner a better product, give them a battery, and do it at a price that just makes sense. So let me show you how to do that. I want to help you guys sell more, do trainings, and be more involved. Thank you guys for coming. I don't see any questions coming through here. So that's it. Krannich, thanks a lot. Thanks so much for having us be a part of this. Looking forward to the next one. I'm sure it'll be soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your day.